Just because YouTube finds ways to get rid of #1 ignorant creationist and not real doctor Kent Hovind like a bad case of crabs, he manages to find his way back to deliver more of his Whack an Atheist. Though this time, he's not content on looking foolish with Simon Dan, Forrest Valkai or Aaron Ra. No, he wants to take on a charity that offers free education. What a whacker. Hello, I'm the Skeptic, the British floating circle that watches people make extraordinary claims, and then I explain why I don't accept what they're saying, and maybe you'll agree with some of those things. Self-proclaimed Dr Dino, the dude that got banned from YouTube for spreading misinformation amongst other things, managed to sneak his way back with another channel to deliver his Whack an Atheist Wednesdays. Some of these videos are hilariously bad, and involve him using what he calls real science to teach folks not to use their imagination. This series really should be called Projection, Your Honour. But before we learn some real science, if this isn't your first Skeptic video, hit the like, the subscribe and the bell, and your feed will get whacked with tons more atheist content, hopefully. And a super thanks to those that hit super thanks in some recent videos. Roger Wenzel 1099, Herburb1, Lost Fan 5054. Twice, and Galactus the Destroyer. Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe bestows leaves upon you all. More hen. Well, it's about time I learned some real science.
Tonight, Whack an Atheist, the Khan Academy going to get it again. We're trying to get some science, some real science and knowledge, and knock some sense into the head of these who have this wild imagination.
Only 10 seconds in, and typically for Kent, there's projection, Your Honour. It's having a wild imagination when things can be tested time and time again and give the same outcome versus imagining some magic sky daddy as the explanation to all.
That we all came from a rock. Evolution is the dumbest religion and most dangerous religion in the world. That's my humble, correct opinion about the topic. Okay.
Evolution isn't a religion. How many times do we got to say it? It's only dangerous for folks like you because it makes the wizard you believe in redundant. And just saying you're correct about it doesn't actually mean you are.
Whack an Atheist Wednesday is a fun game we play here at Dinosaur Adventureland. It's based on the whack-a-mole game. In the whack-a-mole game, the object is when the mole sticks his head up, whack him back down, okay? Whack-a-mole is fun and fast, and you whack him down with a hammer.
Oh, I'm glad you're here to explain that, Ken. I had no idea of whack-a-mole. But hey, can we make Theistaroo, where instead of loading up a donkey with random items, we stack the claims made by a theist onto a believer and tell them to demonstrate it without using their imagination and keep loading them up until they buckle under the pressure?
Small children learn to love whack-a-mole game. And even adults love to whack them back down. Whack-a-mole. Okay, whack-a-mole, whack an atheist. We wait for an atheist to stick his head up and make a silly claim that his evolution religion is true, and it's not. And then sweetly and swiftly whack him back down with real science in Christian love, of course.
Not all atheists accept evolution, though, you silly old git. It's purely the claim about a god. There are even religious folks that accept evolution. But that's by the by. You're going to use real science? Oh, I can't wait for that.
We've whacked lots of atheists. A few have learned to keep their head down and stop making silly claims. Others are a little more hard-headed, and we're going to have to keep whacking them. So I really enjoy whack-a-mole. The winner tonight, the Khan Academy. Look at this. The Khan Academy has 5 employees and $10 million in funding. What are we doing wrong here?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe spreading lies and misinformation. Maybe if you actually started learning and teaching things that were true, more people would sign up to your ways and donate money to your mechanical breakdowns.
We got 35 people work here and about $50 in funding. I got to get a hold of these guys. Let's see. Khan Academy. Saul Khan, the founder and CEO of Khan Academy, nonprofit mission for providing free world-class education. And they do a good job in many subjects. But when it comes to evolution, I'm going to have to whack you, Saul, and I'll debate you and your whole Academy crew any day. Call Standing for Truth. I challenge all of you to a debate, simultaneous, same time. I get half the time, one topic at a time. You go first. What's the best evidence for evolution? You gave one tonight. I'm going to share with everybody. You said the fact that animals have similar 4-limb structures.
I need a voting system on here where we say press one button if you think Kent has actual science to explain why that's wrong, or press another button if you think he's just going to ignore it and say, no, that's wrong.
We've done many videos on Khan Academy on evolution and natural selection explaining them. But I thought I would do a video going a little bit more in depth in evidence for evolution and natural selection.
Good.
And I'm starting with this quote, nothing in biology makes sense except in light of evolution. This is
Okay, Saul, the fact that this guy said that does not make it true.
Exactly, Kent.
It's true he said it, but what he said is not true. You can say all kinds of things. Some say, well, pink elephants can fly. Making a statement doesn't make it true.
You mean like God did it, right? Because that gets said a lot, but it doesn't make it true.
This Dobzhansky guy was wrong. Nothing in biology makes sense without believing in creation. Just because some famous guy says something doesn't make it true. Grow up.
By theist Dobzhansky, who's a famous biologist. He's passed away now. And what he's saying is absolutely true. And this is why it's so important to appreciate the evidence for evolution and natural selection and to understand them. Because before the theory of evolution, biology was just about observation and classification without having a cohesive narrative for how all this came about.
No. They had a great narrative. God designed everything. And all these, the people look at the amazing design of anything from a mosquito to a whale and say, wow, this is designed. They had a cohesive narrative, Saul.
No, they had a narrative you like the sound of. No God or creator has ever been demonstrated, so concluding that things happen because of it is ridiculous.
You guys came along and corrupted it with your stupid religion of evolution. That's what happened. This fires me up, man. Okay.
And since Darwin had come up with this theory in the mid-19th century, we've had far more tools to back it up beyond just the observations we had up until that point.
Okay, again, you are lying or stupid, okay? There are no observations to back up evolution. Every farmer in the history of the world has noticed his cows always make baby cows, and his ducks always make baby ducks. There are no exceptions. Darwin polluted all of biology. He didn't help anything. His theory is stupid.
I'll tell you what is stupid. Not understanding how long it would take for a species to not resemble the species it started out as. Take a small bucket of yellow sand and add a grain of purple sand to it. Now split that bucket into 2 other buckets and take 2 grains of yellow sand away and call that generation 1. Keep repeating, each time adding 1 grain of purple and taking away 2 grains of yellow. Take note of how many generations there are until you have an almost fully purple bucket of sand. And that's a very basic demonstration of how evolution works. At what point did the buckets of sand become more purple than yellow?
Tell him I said so when you see him in hell if you're going there, okay?
Wow, ain't no love like Christian love.
We have our tools around dating in the fossil record.
You don't have any tools from dating to help your evolution theory. Telling how old a fossil is does not mean it evolved into something else. If you find a bone in the dirt that you don't know it had any children, and you sure don't know it had different children, and why do you give bones in the dirt the power to do something no animal alive today can do? No animal today can produce anything other than their kind. How come the bones had this magic power?
They didn't. No one's suggesting they did. It would be very helpful if you actually just listened.
And fossil records, Sal, there is no fossil record. There are fossils, bazillions of them. They came from the flood of Noah. None of the fossils we find in the ground have a date on them, and none of them talk.
Does Kent really think archaeologists look for dates on bones? He really is a big dumb.
None of them. You are putting your interpretation on them. Darwin did not provide you any more tools for your dumb religion.
For sake, no. Darwin recorded the first observations, and tools have been made since to confirm what Darwin first observed.
Which gives us much more evidence. We have our tools of microbiology and genetics, which could...
Well, using those words, microbiology and genetics, might impress somebody. What exactly does that show for evolution? Microbiology, studying the little microscopic things now, all it shows is they're amazingly designed. Sal, the hair on a bacteria has attached to a motor that turns 100,000 RPM and lets that bacteria swim through his little world, the equivalent of a human swimming through peanut butter at 60 miles an hour. That's a powerful engine. And you think it happened by chance? And you can fit 8 million of those engines, those little bacteria flagellum motors, on a period on a page. 8 million of them. And you think it happened by chance?
No, you think it happened by chance, or at least by magic.
You guys are certifiably stupid.
Takes one to know one, Kent. Takes one to know one.
Now, I'm going to broadly go into 3 types of evidence in this video for evolution and natural selection.
Good. I've been asking all you atheists, where's the evidence?
You should speak to biologists. Atheists just don't accept that there's a God, Kent.
I agree, natural selection happens. It selects. It doesn't create anything. It selects things to survive. Quit giving it creative power. So I'm going to take just one of his evidences tonight. We may have to whack them again and again. Only going to have time for one tonight. Here's this apparently, he put it first. I'm going to assume that's the best evidence he's got for evolution.
No one other than creationists say created.
The first is structural. And these are the types of things that folks like Darwin would have observed, that people have been observing in biology for a long time, but evolution and natural selection starts to make a lot more sense of it.
No, it doesn't. The structural similarities of animals does not prove evolution, could prove the same designer made them. Darwin didn't help at all, and structure is not any evidence for evolution. I'll show you in a minute.
Fingers and ears, denial, got it.
And here we're talking about the macrostructure, things that we can, for the most part, observe with our eyes or with a very simple microscope. The next level is what we've learned really over the last 100 or so years.
Okay, let's just stick to the macro homology argument he's going to make here. He says, because the animals have similar four-limb structures, let's see, where are we, right here? Yeah. He says they've got similar four-limb structures. Look at that. The whale's got two bones in his flipper called the radius and the ulna. The humans have two bones in their wrist, the radius and the ulna, and so does the giraffe, and so does the penguin. And that proves a common ancestor? No, I'm sorry. Oh, hang on. I got to get to the other one now. Got too many things going here. Whack an atheist. Let's see. Alt-DV 1600. Okay. The evidence for evolution they always give in all the textbooks is homologous structures. Homo meaning same. Homologous structures. Okay? Look at that. The forelimb of the bird, the dolphin, the human are similar. Yeah. And that proves common ancestor? No. Homologous structures prove common designer.
Okay, let's say for a second that it doesn't prove evolution. Now you're just saying it proves a designer. But who is the designer? And how can you prove it? Was it Brahma, Hephaestus, Wahaguru, Atom, Itzamna? There are so many to choose from and not one has ever been demonstrated. So concluding it was a creator without a creator being proven is dumb.
Look, homologous structure is an example of an organ or bone that appears in different animals underlying anatomical commonalities, demonstrating descent from a common ancestor. This is stuff the kids have to put up with every day. In other words, it's when very different animals have bones that appear similar in form or function and seem to be related. Only in names, they seem to be designed to me, okay?
They seem to have been pooped into existence to me by the one actual true deity, Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, leave be upon her, because she wouldn't poop things out that didn't look similar.
Let's see. Homologies in the following photos of plants and leaves are quite different from the normal leaves, like the pitcher plant, the Venus flytrap. I agree, okay? Evolutionary theory predicts that related organisms will share similarities that are derived from common ancestors. Okay, Sal, creation predicts that God is really smart and everything he does is designed and amazing. And there might be similarities because it's good design and it works. A lot of vehicles have round tires. Motorcycles do, skateboards do, trucks do. What does that prove? It's a good design. It works.
And it would be a great argument if everything was designed perfectly. But there are so many things that suggest otherwise. The fact that temperature, either too hot or too cold, can kill things. Mammals can choke to death because of windpipes and food pipes being the same. Just to name a few.
Homologies can be revealed by comparing the anatomies of different living things, looking at cellular similarities and differences, studying embryological development. Don't use that one, please. That's been alive for 150 years. Leave that one out.
What about it is a lie? You can't just say it's a lie and move on. Most embryos look the same up until a certain point in their development. Is that what's an issue for you here?
And studying vestigial structures. Vestigial structures, I mean, you don't need something anymore. Losing something is not evidence for how you got everything. Unless you want to go to Las Vegas, try that theory there. Okay, let's see. Evidence of evolution, homology.
Oh, the famous crocoduck, which just shows ignorance and lack of understanding of how evolution actually works.
What evidence exists to support the idea that life on Earth has evolved its diversity through a long process of descent with modification? Homology, similar structures. One of the most powerful forms of evidence is homology. If you're taking a class at Miami University, get your money back. If they're teaching this, they're stupid. Tell them I said so. I'll debate all of them at the same time.
But your debates seem to be you saying, that's stupid, God did it. Maybe this is why you don't get debated anymore, because it's a waste of time. And you watched, 6 minutes of the Khan video, and now you're regurgitating old slides?
The humans and the alligator and the penguin and the bat. All of them have a humerus, a radius, a ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges. What does that prove? Common ancestor? No, common designer. But this is argument used in all the biology textbooks I've ever seen. Best evidence for evolution, homology. Look at the forelimbs. Wow, two bones. It's a good design. You can twist. How many of you like having two bones where you can twist your arm around and move stuff around, pick stuff up and scratch your back? Yeah. You like it? I do too. Okay, good.
What about people born without those limbs? That's terrible design. How can they scratch their backs?
Essential biology. Whoa. For evidence of a common ancestor. Homology, the forelimbs of vertebrates are all homologous structures with different appearance and function that all derive from the same body part. No, they don't. They come from the same designer.
And you're literally looking at different pictures of the same thing and just saying, no, it's because of this, but offering zero reason as to why. Until a creator has ever been demonstrated, let's just go with what is repeatedly demonstrable.
Critically thinking. A seal's flipper and a human arm have different functions. What evidence might help to show that both structures evolved from the forelimb of a common ancestor? That's not thinking critically. That's being brainwashed.
Says a guy who's quite literally been brainwashed into thinking that an undemonstrated sky wizard did all of this, when it was clearly least of the rainbow giraffe leaf be upon her.
It's like me asking the question, kids, why are elephants orange? Now tell me now. They're not orange teeth. Oh, you're not allowed to say that. Just tell me why they're orange.
Maybe an elephant took a mud bath in a light-coloured mud and it has the appearance of orange. Since you're trying to be tricksy, I can come up with a tricksy explanation.
That's what they're doing here. Well, how might this help prove they had a common ancestor? Why don't you say, does this help prove they have a common ancestor? No, no, no. How does this prove is the way you ask it. Okay.
Just like we should be asking you, how does it prove a creator? At least the current scientific explanation can be shown. It would be silly to conclude that life-building fairies made stuff because no life-building fairies have been proven to exist. Just as it would be silly to conclude an undemonstrated man that lives in the sky did it.
Commonality suggests these and other vertebrate animals are all related. Probably had a common ancestor. There it is, common ancestor. The bones develop from different genes in different organisms. Evolutionists cannot explain this and seldom discuss it. Yes, they're similar, but they're very different genes in the chromosome. You guys don't talk about that, do you?
Because it's not being discussed, you ignorant buffoon.
Let's see. Basic body parts, Irish textbook. It's taught all over the place. Latvia, when I was over there, I got the Latvian textbook. They teach this in all the languages that I've seen. Push evolution, lie. Similar design might prove the same designer made them.
Yeah, it might. And I'll accept it as designed if you can prove the designer, Kent, me old mucker.
See, the lug nuts from a Pontiac will fit on a Chevy. Go try it. That proves they both evolved from a skateboard.
Idiot.
So I did some research myself today. I like to do, I'm a research scientist, you know. All these items are round. They must be related. I'd like to do more research, but I need a government grant, about $12 million. Please send it to 488 Pearl Lane, Repton, Alabama, 36475, please, okay? Aren't they all round? Doesn't that prove something? Look at that.
Yet another example of why people don't debate Kent. He's just a ridiculous bugger who thinks he has great arguments, but actually is just being ignorant. And rather unsuccessfully, since you can't even afford to fix an engine on a golf cart.
All these animals are fast. They must be related. Yep. The ostrich and the shark and the hummingbird. Anybody can see the similarity there. Hello. All these animals lay eggs. Let's see, the frog, the turtle, the centipede, got to be related. If you don't believe a centipede and a frog have a same ancestor, something's wrong with you. They both lay eggs, you know. All of them do. Let's see. All these animals live a long time. They got to be related.
I mean, if you go back far enough, then yeah, they are. But maybe ask yourself this. Why does a creator god make some creatures live for hundreds of years, but the ones it apparently loves the most, us, only for 70 years on average? Does it favour the giant tortoise who never suggests that there is a designer or creator over a man who's been arrested for domestic violence? Oh!
I'd like to do more research. I need about $24 million to finish this project, okay? I have my own research laboratory. Let's see. All these animals are green. Would you look at that? The grasshopper, the moray eel, and the luna moth, and the red-eyed tree frog, and the European green lizard, and the green darner dragonfly, and the glorious scarab. All of them are green. That, I believe, proves a common ancestor.
Well, there you go. Kent said it, so he's now got it. Well done, Kent.
So I need about $30 million to finish that research, okay? Let's see. All these animals burrow in the ground. That's proof they're related. Let's see, what do we got? There's a rabbit, the armadillo. You know why the chicken crossed the road? To prove to the armadillo it could be done. Let's see, the burrowing owl. Look at all these animals that burrow in the ground. Got to be related. That proves a common ancestor, doesn't it?
Well, actually, I bet a lot of those creatures have closer common ancestors than you think. It's like he maybe actually does believe it, but has to act like he doesn't to continue this strange facade.
How about these? All these animals have no eyes. The blind salamander, the star-nosed mole, the cave wolf spider, the blind catfish. That proves a common ancestor, I think.
It might not prove a common ancestor, but it might actually show evolution at work. Since there was no need for eyes in the dark, lightless environments, they kind of just faded out.
I need to do more research. I need about 40 million to finish that project because I'd have to travel a lot. Yeah, okay. All these animals are blue. They got to be related. I'd like to do more research. The blue jay and the blue sea star, I'm having a hard time figuring out how they exactly are related since one has feathers and one doesn't. They both have 5 arms except for the blue jay, and they got to be related. So I need about 40 million to finish that research. Let's see. All these animals eat snakes. That proves they're related. Let's see, the mongoose and the snake eagle. If you can't see the similarity between an eagle and a mongoose, I can't help you. They both have hair except for the eagle. They both have feathers except for the mongoose.
I guess, since he's droned on, it might be time to mention convergent evolution and how when a gap opens up, it often gets filled. No creatures eating snakes, an abundance of snakes, a creature that could eat snakes starts to eat snakes. It's not hard.
I mean, come on, guys. Give me 40 million. I'll finish the research on this and get a doctor's degree in all this, right?
Wait, an actual doctor's degree? Is that a slight admission that you're not really a doctor? I knew it.
All these animals are stupid. The dumbest animals in the world.
That's a lie. There's no picture of you or Matt Powell on there. Oh, whoops.
The panda, the turkey, the ostrich, the giraffe. Look at, they got them listed as the dumbest animals. I've already done the research on this. I don't need a government grant. At the top of the stupid pile are people who think they came from a rock and are related to strawberries and flowers and worms.
And above that is a human that thinks a magic man poofed all of this into existence from nothing, that lived outside of time, space and matter, but somehow managed to interact with time, space and matter, those are Kent's words, not mine, and couldn't poof a man into existence, but needed a bit of dirt to make it from, and then needed a rib from the man to make a woman. And one day the magic floaty sky wizard impregnated a 14-year-old girl with itself so that one day it could kill itself to make up for the fact that a dirt man and a rib woman ate an apple that it knew they would eat because apparently it knows everything. That tops the stupid for me. I'm sorry, Kent, you didn't offer any actual science. But if you could be a doctor of sticking your fingers in your ears and shouting, "No, my God did it!" then you'd be the best doctor ever. I think the Khan Academy is fine here. He barely used any of their video and instead showed that he knows a few colours and begged for money. Great going, Kenty. Though maybe you agree that Kent did put the Khan Academy in their place. Let me know in the section below. I'm going to skeptic this as another atheist whack being evaded by a good mile. A big thank you to this month's top level ticks on Patreon: Godless Granny, Addy Rockart, the Enixes, Chakari, Whiskey Tech Fred, and the Absolute Lunatic Travis, as well as all the $3 base ticks. You can become a supporter on Patreon too at patreon.com/theskeptic. The link is in the description, along with links to all my other socials. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically, and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.